I just came home from a night of dancing, from a glitter themed night, and I thought, what a great thing to do is read in front of the camera with glitter all over my face, or some parts of my face. Um, yes, so we are on chapter 4, the planets of On the Heavenly Spheres. And I'm playing around with different setups. It's a process. We're learning. I'm learning. Um, so we are on page 34, and under the title, it's not really a chapter heading, it's like a subchapter title. Rulerships and Association of the Planets. This is gonna be a lot of list reading, this chapter, but um, let's go. Rulerships and Association of the Planets. In addition to its essential nature, the planets are also associated with other aspects of daily life, namely colors, tastes, minerals, and places. These attributions have an affinity with the nature of the planet. For example, Saturn, a cold and dry planet, therefore sterile and unfavorable to life, appears naturally associated with freezes, winter, cemeteries, and graves. The visible characteristics of the planet also contribute to those associations. For example, Venus, the most luminous planet, is associated with bright colors, while Mars, being of a reddish hue, appears naturally associated with red and derived tones. It is important to note that this type of association is not applicable to all branches of astrology. Many of them should be used within the context of specific techniques, namely in the descriptions of objects, places, and people, horary astrology, in the determination of diseases, medical astrology, in the description of individuals, natal or horary astrology, and in the localization of events, which is mundane astrology. There's a little sub box here. Important note, all of the associations presented here refer to the basic nature of a planet. They may be modified by the position of the planet, by house or sign. Um, okay, let's get into colors. The association of planets with colors is especially relevant to the description of objects, clothes, animal, furs, and others, and is particularly useful in horary astrology. For example, an item of clothing signified by the moon will have light colors varying between white and blue-green. So going into the colors, we start with Saturn, which is black or black mixed with yellow, dark green, and a leaden gray. I like that word, leaden gray. Jupiter, light colors, yellowish or brownish white, bright or glittering colors. Yeah. Solemn colors, blue, purple, burgundy, and red. Um, it's just a funny note. Jupiter is, I have Jupiter in Aries and it's in my 10th house, so it's on the midheaven. So, anyway, Mars, red, yellow, bright, fiery colors, saffron. Sun, bright yellow, gold, golden, orange, scarlet, purple, solar colors in general. And Venus, pure white, pastel and milky colors, luminous and light tones. Some authors mention green. Um, nope, Mercury, complex colors, multicolored patterns, mixtures, bluish gray, and some metallic tones. I feel like it's like a mottled color. Multicolored, yeah, mottled. The moon is light blue, white, pale green, and silver. Odors and flavors. The planets can function as descriptive aids, in particular for places and foods. They are also used for a selection of medical treatments and talismans. Sometimes I want to say talismans, because I'm just, yeah, talismans. So we have Saturn, which is going to be astringent and unpleasant odors, acidic and offensive odors, Yeah, I don't know if that's acidic. Acetic. Aztec? I think it was acidic, there'd be an S in there. Acetic. So it also rules bad smells, bitter, sour, and aggressively unpleasant flavors. Jupiter, sweet smelling things and any pleasant and moderate odor, sweet and bittersweet flavors. Of Mars, we have aggressive and spicy odors, bitter and strong flavors that burn the tongue. Oh, Mars. The Sun, pungent odors, flavors that are rich, bittersweet, strongly aromatic, or spicy but nice and moderate. Makes me think of the Good Earth sweet and spicy tea. Venus, odors that incite to pleasure and lust, favors that are tasty, sweet, fatty, moist, or delicious. Mercury, we have composite colors, subtle but penetrating, mixed with complex flavors. The Moon, we have fresh, wet, and mild odors, salty, bland, or slightly bitter flavors. And we're moving on to places. The places associated with the planets are particularly useful in horary astrology to find objects, animals, or missing persons. So here we have Saturn, ruling places like desert, dark places, caves, holes, mountains, graveyards, ruins, coal mines, wells, and dirty and bad smelling places. Jupiter, we have places of worship, building with religious function, courts of law, and clean and tidy places. For Mars, we have blacksmith shops, furnaces, chimneys, brick and pottery, ovens, places where fuel is burned, and slaughterhouses. Slaughter. Sun, royal courts, palaces, grandiose showrooms, theater, opera houses, salons, and majestic buildings. With Venus, we have gardens, lovely gardens, and fountains, wedding suites, pretty chambers, dance schools, and places of pleasure and amusement. Mercury, these places are going to be places of commerce, shops, schools, libraries, public spaces, and casinos. With the moon, we have fountains, streams, springs, ports, docks, rivers, lakes, aquariums, fish ponds, swimming pools, bathhouses, roads, and desert places. I wasn't expecting desert. Or maybe it's dessert places? Shit. I don't know if that's dessert or desert. Does desert have two S's? Look it up. Okay, we're moving on to minerals. I'm going to look it up later. I think dessert has two S's. Yeah. So minerals. The mineral associations can provide information about the material from which a lost object is made and be useful in the production of talismans. There are many variations of this table. The ones presented here are most common. We have Saturn, which is metal, lead, lodestone, scum from other metals, debris, any pure, bad quality material, gems and minerals, sapphire, onyx, jet, and other black stones, stones that are hard to polish. Or have sad colors like gray and black. Jupiter, we have metal and tin. Gems and minerals are amethyst, sapphire, emerald, marble, and stones that are easy to cut. For Mars, we have the metals are iron and antimony. What is antimony? I had not heard that word before. Uh, it's a metal. That's what it is. We have, for gems and minerals, we have hematite, which is also known as lodestone, jasper, especially bloodstone, arsenic, and sulfur. For the sun, the metal is gold. Gem and minerals are jacinth, 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 diamond, carbuncle, chrysolite, which is also known as olivine, and ruby. For Venus, the metals are copper and brass. Its gems and minerals are coralline, coral, alabaster, lapis lazuli, beryllinium, and chrysolite, which is also known as albaline, which we also saw with the sun. Interesting. Okay, so for Mercury, its metal is mercury. Did you ever hold, when I was a kid, our teacher broke open a thermometer, and I remember holding mercury as a kid, and granted it was the 80s, but still. Wow. Okay. Um, for mercury, gem and minerals, topaz, silex, and all stones of diverse colors. For the moon, the metal is silver. Gems and minerals are selenite, moonstone, rock crystal, and all soft stones. For physical appearance, the association of planets are used particularly to describe the physical appearances of individuals. They have practical applications in natal horary and medical astrology. For Saturn, we have a dry and lean figure, slightly bent, medium stature, pale complexion, dark hair and eyes. For Jupiter, we have pleasant figure, upright stature, pinkish complexion, oval and full face, fair hair and light eyes, and strong thighs. Of Mars, we have strong body, medium stature, a reddish complexion, round face, coarse hair, of a fair, tending towards red, and light, piercing eyes. For the Sun, we have large and strong body, ruddy skin, big round eyes, and generally light hair with a tendency to baldness. Too much heat in the head. For Venus, we have a medium body, light but not pale skin, dark and beautiful eyes, and abundant, usually light colored hair. For Mercury, we have tall and slim figure, dark skin and hair, big forehead, thin lips and nose, and long arms and hands. For the moon, we have full figure, round face, light skin, abundant hair, and short and fleshy hands. So we also have professions, which is rolled next. These associations indicate vocations, skill, as well as describing people. Saturn's professions are associated with the earth are professions associated with the earth are given to Saturn. Those who work, toilet, who I think maybe work the soil. That sentence doesn't make sense. Those who work toilet, those who work with the soil, such as farmers, gardeners, those who work below it, such as miners, those who work with minerals, such as stonemasons, brickmakers, coal merchants, potters, and those who work with tin, asphalt, layers, and construction professions. Saturn rules religious professions that imply isolation, such as monks, or auxiliary church personnel, such as sextons. It indicates activities associated with old age, such as retirement. Saturn is also connected with a pastoral profession, and in general, professions that deal with livestock, stables, and stable hands and hide tanners. Another type of Saturnian profession is associated with debris and its cleaning, such as plumbers, chimney sweeps, sanitation workers, and in general professions considered of a low social status. Social status. For this reason, it also rules beggars and those who work odd jobs. Saturn is also connected to those who deal with death and cadavers, such as grave diggers and morticians. For Jupiter, Jupiter rules professions associated with law, the law, and with politics, such as judges, senators, chancellors, lawyers, and law professors, religious professions, such as clerics, bishops, priests, vicars, and professions associated with advanced education, such as graduate university and college students. For Mars, we have, because it is associated with war, Mars represents conquerors, generals, captains, commanders, military people in general, armors, armorers, AMORERS, police officers, and bailiffs. Mars also represents physicians, surgeons, and pharmacists, as well as professions associated with fire, such as alchemists, chemists, metalworkers, metalworkers, firefighters. It also rules professions that rely on metal or cutting tools, or those who work directly with metals, such as blacksmith, tanners, barbers, tailors, carpenters, cobblers, watchers, butchers, um, bakers, and cooks. Other professions under this planet are dyers, athletes, and movers. In its negative aspect, Mars symbolizes all tyrants and oppressors, usurpers, executioners, and thieves. For the Sun, we have kings and princes, emperors, dukes, marquises, counts, and nobles, and those in administrative high status and power positions, such as magistrates, butlers, courtesans, and I'll add personally CEOs. For Venus, since it is associated with pleasure, Venus represents musicians, singers, and game players. In the arts and crafts, silk and fabric traders, embroiderers, dressmakers, painters, jewelers, designers, decorators, and all professions connected with aesthetics and beauty are associated with Venus. For Mercury, Mercury is associated with authors, philosophers, mathematicians, astrology, merchants, secretaries, clerks, poets, orators, ambassadors, teachers, printers, money traders, accountants, lawyers, salespeople, transporters, messengers, delivery personnel, and letter carriers, as well as thieves, liars, and swindlers. Moving on to the moon. The moon rules seafarers, sailors, fishing personnel, producers, and sellers of alcoholic beverages, bartenders, delivery workers, and messengers. Well, the moon also rules messengers. Let's see, carriage drivers, taxi drivers, hunters, millers, housekeepers, midwives, and nurses. We have a meteorology section. These planetary associations govern weather forecasting, natural astrology. As its goal, it is important to note that this branch of astrology follows very specific rules regarding the planets and its chart as a whole. For Saturn, we have cloudy skies, thick dark clouds, cold weather, and eastern winds. For Jupiter, we have serene, good weather, and northern winds. For Mars, we have reddish clouds, thunder and lightning, pestilential airs, well, dry and hot, and western winds. For the Sun, weather according to the season of the year and eastern winds. For Venus, good weather in summer, rain or snow in winter, and southern winds. For Mercury, we have windy or turbulent weather and sometimes rain and storms. For the Moon, weather according according the planet it contacts, and thus reinforcing this planet's nature. We have planetary periods. In the tradition, each planet rules specific periods of time known as planetary periods. These periods are divided into maximum, greater, and middle and lesser years. In practice, these values are used every time it is necessary to calculate the duration of an event. The maximum years are used with events on a historic scale, for example, the foundation of a dynasty, while the remaining periods refer to more human scale times. The lesser and maximum years are obtained from the geocentric periods of the planets, zodiacal and or synodic cycles. The greater years result from the total number of degrees corresponding to the Egyptian terms of the planets. In the case of the sun or the moon, they are symbolic numbers. The middle years reach from the average of the lesser and greater years. The following listing shows the planetary periods. So for Saturn, lesser is 30 years, the middle is 43.5, the greater is 57, and the maximum is 256. For Jupiter, the lesser amount is 12, middle for 45.5, greater 79, and the maximum is 246. Of Mars, the lesser is 15, the middle is 40.5, the greater is 66, and the maximum 284. The Sun is 19 for lesser, middle 69.5, greater 120, and maximum for 1,461. For Venus, the lesser is 8. You know, these are the synodic cycles for the lesser. For the middle is 45, the greater 82, and the maximum is 1,151. For Mercury, not a synodic cycle for lesser, which is 20 years. But it's a cycle of something. Middle is 48, greater 76, and maximum 461. The moon is is 25 for lesser, and I was just thinking it takes 2.5 days to get through one sign, and so symbolically 25 years. For the middle, that's my guess, not in the book. Middle is 66.5, greater is 108, and the maximum is 520. And now in this final portion, almost final portion, we're going to read the ages of man. The planets are also associated with different phases of human life. Every stage of life is generically under the influence of a planet, which bestows upon it its attributes and characteristics. The first years of life, marked by rapid changes and by total dependency upon the parents, are under the dominion of the moon. Infancy, whereupon the development of communication of the rational faculties are experienced, is under the rulership of Mercury. The hormonal changes of adolescence, the development of social skills are under are dependent upon Venus. Youth, a phase which the young adult seeks to conquer a place in society, is governed by the Sun. Maturity, the stage for the consolidation of strength and the capacity to act, is associated with Mars. The pinnacle of life, a stage of reflection and attainment of honors or recognition, is under the jurisdiction of Jupiter. Finally, old age, marked by the natural decline and by limitation of age, is attributed to, you guessed it, Saturn. The phases of gestation. The tradition associates the 9 months of fetal gestation with the planets according to the Chaldean order. The first month is attributed to Saturn and corresponds with the initial phase of pregnancy, when the pregnancy may or may not proceed. The second month is under the jurisdiction of Jupiter, a benefic and fertile planet that stimulates growth and multiplication of cells. Mars is next, the ruler of the third month, which energizes gestation with its heat and activity. The fourth month, governed by the Sun, corresponds to the phase where the spirit directly influences matter, bestowing upon it the human form in the fifth month. From the very nature of Venus, the organs are, in the 5th month, from the very nature of Venus, the organs are completed and sensibility increases. Next, Mercury's month, the 6th month, when the ability for movement increases. In the 7th month, under the aspects of the moon, the baby completes its form and the use of its organs. If it is born during this phase, it may now survive on its own. Saturn returns to rule over the 8th month, cooling down and firming up the form. It is considered less promising for there to be a birth during this phase that is in the previous one due to the excessively cold nature of this planet. Finally, the cycle completes itself in the 9th month, ruled by Jupiter, whose abundance and fertility protects the baby and favors birth. The following listing shows the phases of gestation and their primary rulers, which we pretty much just read. So I'm not going to read it. Hopefully you have the book open to the page and you are reading those things. So that's it for this chapter. Thanks.